I can feel compassion for some people, just not Fat Ass 45. Like so many of the horrors that have emerged from Fat Ass 45's Squad and Z, Fat Ass 45's most recent catastrophe, his COVID-19 infection, is largely one of his own making that could have been avoided with due care. Unfortunately, Fat Ass 45's response to this extraordinary circumstance has been to follow the tried and true directions of his squatter role playbook, how to take a disaster and make it worse. Fat Ass 45 has had more opportunity to avoid contracting the COVID-19 than probably any person on the face of the planet. His aides test virtually every stranger before they come into contact with them. He has unlimited access to personal testing, and Fat Ass 45 does not have to wait the 8 days that it took anybody to get their test results. Fat Ass 45 hasn't had to spend months online searching Amazon, Walmart, and Target for hand sanitizer, toilet paper, or disinfectant wipes, and in order to feed his family, Fat Ass 45 hasn't spent 8 hours a day ringing up groceries 2 feet away from an endless line of strangers wearing their face masks as chin straps. What Fat Ass 45 has done is falsely tell the public that 99% of the coronavirus cases are totally harmless, that it would disappear like a miracle and children are virtually immune. Fat Ass 45 has also blamed former President Barack Obama for the virus that did not exist when Obama was president. He refused, he refused to fully implement the Defense Production Act to produce the desperately needed protective gear and told the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to reduce testing because the numbers made him look bad. It wasn't enough for Fat Ass 45 to discourage the use of masks that protect against viral transmission by simply refusing to wear one himself. Fat Ass 45 has brutally ridiculed people who wear masks, including people like former Vice President Joe Biden. And when governors imposed the life-saving measures to stem the tide of a virus that was ravaging the citizens, Fat Ass 45 would tweet "Liberate," encouraging his inbred welfare-collecting trailer park supporters to ignore safety protocols and increasing the likelihood that they would contract the virus and transmit it to others. Most of us will feel empathy for the smoker who gets lung cancer, but not for the cigarette company CEO who contracts the disease after spending decades lying to the public in an effort to convince them to ignore the dangers of smoking. Um, Now you might get the reference, you might not. Fat Ass 45 is the Philip Morris of coronavirus. In February, when things could have been contained, Fat Ass 45 told Bob Woodward the virus is deadly and easily transmits through the air. Then Fat Ass 45 did everything in his power to undercut efforts by public health agencies to save lives. He downplayed a lethal threat to make things appear under control in order to boost his re-election chances. Fat Ass 45's malfeasance is not simply historical. The events surrounding Fat Ass 45's own infection are steeped in the same reckless arrogance that has left more than 210,000 Americans dead. All signs point to the White House Rose Garden party and half of the Supreme Court nominee, the dumb cunt Amy Coney Barrett, as ground zero. The event 10 days ago the event back at this time that the story was put out was but almost 3 weeks ago. It was basically attended by Fat Ass 45 himself, Smelly Khanjob, Kayleigh McEnema, and several others who have since tested positive for the COVID-19. The video showed attendees packed shoulder to shoulder with no mask in sight, but there was lots of hugging, handshaking, and Conway whispering, and Khanjob whispering in Attorney General Fat Fuck Barr's ear. Um, the Barrett soiree took place on the Saturday before the first presidential debate. At that time, if Fat Ass 45 became infected then, the virus was exponentially multiplying when he arrived in Cleveland on Tuesday to do his Klan rally, and a little too late to be COVID tested before standing maskless on a debate stage for 90 minutes, shouting incoherently at Biden. Um, Fat Ass 45's privilege was on full display at the debate. The first family and their guests took off their masks in violation of the debate rules set by the host and refused to put them back on when asked to do so. Instead of apologizing after the spate of positive tests, Fat Ass 45 advisor Dumbass Cortez doubled down Sunday and defended the decision to jeopardize others in the audience as an individual choice. That's because Cortez is a piece of shit. Hope Hicks was already COVID symptomatic when she and Fat 45 flew together to and from a campaign to a Klan rally in Minnesota last Wednesday. By Thursday morning, Hicks had tested positive for the COVID-19 instead of disclosing um, the Hicks test so people could take precautions for themselves and others they had contact with. The White House and the news hid the news until the press broke the story, according to Bloomberg News. Despite knowing that he had been exposed to coronavirus by Hicks, Fat 45 flew to New Jersey on Thursday, where he had met indoors without masks with 18 donors who each paid $250,000 for the privilege. Fat 45 was awaiting his own test results Thursday evening, but he never disclosed to his donors that he had placed them in jeopardy. Even after testing positive, Fat 45 did not have the decency to reach out to the Biden camp to let them know that they had likely been exposed to the deadly virus. Then Fat 45 and his team proceeded to hide his condition from the American public on Saturday, a day after a couple weeks ago. It says after Fat 45 was taken to Walter Reed Medical Center, White House physician Sean Connolly downplayed Fat 45's condition and amateurishly dodged questions about whether Fat 45 had been placed on oxygen, and that he had at least once. Connolly also had said that Fat 45 knew he was positive for over 3 days. When a shocked press pointed out that meant Fat 45 had knowingly exposed all he came into contact with between Wednesday and Friday of that week, Connolly walked back his statement. While Connolly painted a rosy picture of Fat 45's condition, and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows described it as far more precarious. Contracting the COVID um, um, contracting the COVID-19, this is basically gave Fat 45 a perfect opportunity to help his supporters understand the real-life danger of the disease and to encourage them to follow safety rules to avoid it. Technically, they still haven't followed it. Instead, before leaving the hospital on Monday, he tweeted, "I'm feeling great. Don't be afraid of COVID. Yeah, you're full of shit." Fat 45 has alarmingly left his followers with the impression that if an overweight fat ass like him can breeze through a course of the virus with flu symptoms, they can too. To the extent anyone thought contracting the COVID would change Fat 45 for the better, they are wrong. Fat 45 may be getting experimental coronavirus treatments not available to ordinary Americans, but Walter Reed cannot supply an IV drip of the blind adulation that is his lifeblood. And so, in a quintessential act of selfishness, on Sunday, Fat 45 broke quarantine to go on an SUV cruise, where he waved to his inbred welfare collecting trailer park of fans who lined the street and cheered. But feeding Fat 45's ego necessitated that 2 Secret Service agents accompanied him. Just the infected fat ass and 2 innocent government workers hermetically sealed in a vehicle where they risked their safety for a Fat 45 photo op. I'm not without compassion, but it's reserved for my sister. Basically the person's sisters. The person that's doing the article says they're 38 year old. Their sister's 38 the person's sister's 38-year-old best friend, who disproved the fat ass's claim that coronavirus does not kill the young for ordinary Americans who contracted the virus because they had to leave home to work in order to support their families, for more than the 1,700 healthcare workers who risked their lives to save others and paid the ultimate price for their sacrifice, and for those who perished in an empty hospital room, where they said goodbye on an iPad rather than in the arms of the ones they loved. I know I'm going to be crucified as being cold-blooded for this column, but 4 years of surviving Fat 45 has basically hardened my heart. Anytime news reports of Fat 45's illness prompt a twinge of feeling, I just watched a 2016 video of Fat 45 ruthlessly mocking Hillary Clinton for stumbling after she pushed herself to attend a 9/11 memorial ceremony where suffering from pneumonia at the time. I cannot stomach the hypocrisy of calling Fat 45 corrupt, racist, and a threat to American democracy, and then putting on a sad face and publicly announcing I want him to quickly get back to it, and I can't muster sympathy for someone who causes and rebels in the pain and suffering of others. I just can't do it. So if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, Randman Mike, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out, and thanks for listening.